Ladies, have you ever wondered what not to say to a man if you want to keep the peace? As communication forms the cornerstone of any relationship, certain phrases can inadvertently cause rifts or hurt feelings. As author Gary Chapman aptly puts it, words are powerful. They can create or destroy. I choose to use my words to create joy. Let's delve into 8 things you should never say to a man, ensuring your conversations build bridges rather than burn them. At number 1, you should be more like Kevin or Mark. Another man. Seriously, comparing him to another dude is a straight-up relationship no-go. Imagine how you'd feel if he told you to be more like his ex or that Instagram model he follows. Not exactly a confidence booster, right? When you say, "Why can't you be more like Jim? He always plans romantic dates." What he's hearing is, "You're failing, buddy, and you're not measuring up to some imaginary gold standard." It's like telling a cat to act more like a dog, ridiculous and unfair. Men, just like anyone else, want to feel appreciated for who they are, not who they aren't. So unless you're trying to spark a fire of resentment and insecurity, keep the comparisons to yourself. Be grateful for the unique quirks that make him who he is, even if that means putting up with his annoying obsession with fantasy football. Because trust me, Jim has his own set of issues, and they probably include a sock collection that rivals Mount Everest. Number 2, real men don't cry. Oh please. If you still believe that real men don't cry, you're living in the Stone Age. Saying this is like telling someone to hold in a sneeze, completely unnatural and downright uncomfortable. Men have tear ducts for a reason, and it's not just to get misty-eyed during The Lion King. When you drop this bomb, you're basically saying, bottle up all your feelings until you explode. Spoiler alert, that's a recipe for disaster. Crying isn't a weakness, it's a human thing. So unless you want to be responsible for his inevitable emotional breakdown during a Hallmark commercial, let him shed a tear or two. Let's be brutally honest, emotional constipation isn't attractive on anyone. You don't want a robot for a partner, and he doesn't need a drill sergeant for a girlfriend. If he's got feelings, let them out. You wouldn't ask him to stop eating or sleeping, so why on earth would you ask him to stop expressing himself? Remember, a man who can cry is a man who's in touch with his emotions, and that's a real catch. So, ditch the outdated macho nonsense and hand him a tissue. Ladies, are you getting inspired by today's discussion? For more insightful content on relationships and communication, subscribe to the Unstoppable She channel. Dive into daily tips and discussions that empower and enlighten. Let's grow together. At number 3, why don't you just man up? Oh, come on. Telling a guy to man up is as helpful as telling a fish to climb a tree. What does that even mean? Grow a beard, bench press a car, and never show an ounce of vulnerability? It's the emotional equivalent of saying, stop being human. When you throw out man up, you're basically saying, your feelings don't matter and your struggles are trivial. It's a one-way ticket to emotional shutdown town. This phrase is the epitome of toxic masculinity, implying that real men are supposed to be tough, stoic, and devoid of any real emotion. Newsflash. We're not in a 1950s Western movie. Here's the deal. Life is hard enough without someone policing how you handle it. Maybe he's dealing with something big, or maybe he's just having a bad day. Either way, he doesn't need a pep talk from the book of cliches. Instead of tossing out a thoughtless man up, try offering some real support. You know, like a decent human being. Ask him what's going on and actually listen. And if that feels too foreign, maybe just hand him a beer and let him vent. Trust me, you'll both be better off. Number 4. My ex used to do something better. Oh wow, comparing your current man to your ex? That's a surefire way to light a dumpster fire in your relationship. When you say, my ex used to take me to better restaurants, what he's hearing is, you're not good enough, and here's proof. It's like handing him a one-way ticket to insecurity land with a pit stop at Resentment City. Bringing up an ex to highlight his shortcomings is like waving a red flag at a bull. It's not just hurtful, it's downright cruel. Imagine if he told you, my ex used to cook better than you. Ouch, right? It's not just a critique, it's a dagger to the heart. Here's the brutal honest, her ladies. If your ex was so great, why aren't you still with them? There's a reason they're in the past, so let's keep them there. Your current guy doesn't need to compete with a ghost. He's got his own strengths and quirks, And those are what you should be focusing on. And let's be real. No one likes to feel like they're in a constant competition with someone who's no longer in the picture. So next time you feel the urge to compare, zip it. Appreciate your man for who he is, not for who he isn't. And if you really can't help but compare, maybe it's time to reevaluate why you're in the relationship in the first place. Number 5. You're not really good at a traditionally male task. Ladies, telling a guy he sucks at something like fixing the sink or grilling burgers is a fast track to hurt feelingsville. It's like telling Picasso he's not great with a paintbrush. Traditionally, male tasks are often tied to a man's sense of competence and pride, so when you throw shade, it stings. Imagine if he told you, you're not really good at cooking, even if you're not exactly master chef. It's not just a critique, it's a low blow. Telling him he's bad at these tasks implies he's falling short of some outdated macho ideal that men are supposed to be handymen, BBQ masters, or human GPS systems. Here's the brutal truth. Not every guy is going to be a Mr. Fix-It, and that's perfectly fine. Everyone has different skills. Maybe he's terrible at assembling IKEA furniture but can whip up a mean lasagna or write a killer presentation for work. So instead of focusing on what he can't do, appreciate what he does well. And honestly, if he's not great at fixing things, maybe it's a blessing in disguise. Better to hire a professional than end up with a kitchen flood or a lopsided deck. So, next time something needs doing, skip the critique and give him a pass. Or better yet, learn how to do it together and have a laugh about it. Number 6. You're overreacting. Oh, come on. Telling a man he's overreacting is like pouring gasoline on a fire and then acting surprised when it explodes. When you say, you're overreacting, what he's hearing is, your feelings are invalid, and you're being ridiculous. It's the ultimate shutdown, dismissing his emotions like they're an annoying pop-up ad. Think about it. When you're upset about something and someone tells you to calm down, does it help? Nope. It's infuriating. So why would it be any different for him? Everyone has their moments, and just because his reaction doesn't match your idea of normal, doesn't mean it's not valid. Here's the brutal truth in all this. Emotions aren't rational. They're messy, complicated, and unique to each person. Telling him he's overreacting is basically saying your emotional response is wrong, which, let's be honest, is a pretty arrogant thing to claim. Instead of playing the judge of what's an appropriate reaction, try this. Listen, maybe he had a rough day. Maybe there's more going on than you realize, or maybe he just needs to vent. Let him have his moment. If you're always dismissing his feelings, don't be surprised when he stops sharing them altogether. And here's a bit of sass for you. If you're going to tell him he's overreacting, be ready for the fallout. Because nothing escalates a situation faster than telling someone to calm down. So save yourself the drama and just be there for him. You might find that listening and supporting does a lot more good than playing the emotional referee. Number 7. You're not earning enough. Oh, really? Telling a man he's not earning enough is like throwing a grenade into his self-esteem and then wondering why it's all blown to bits. When you say, you're not earning enough, what he's hearing is, you're failing as a provider and a partner. It's a deep cut to his sense of worth, especially if he ties his value to his financial contribution. Let's be brutally honest. Money is a touchy subject for everyone. But for many men, it's wrapped up in their identity. Society has hammered in the idea that men should be the primary breadwinners. So when you point out that he's not raking in the big bucks, it hits hard. Imagine if he told you, you're not attractive enough, or you're not good enough in bed. Yeah, same level of ouch. Here's the kicker. Life isn't all about money. Sure, it's important, but there are so many other ways he contributes to the relationship. Maybe he's amazing at fixing things around the house, or he's the emotional rock you lean on. Reducing his value to a paycheck is not only unfair, but also incredibly narrow-minded. Unless you're rolling in dough yourself, maybe take a step back before criticizing his earnings. Relationships are partnerships, not financial competitions. If you're that concerned about money, perhaps have a constructive conversation about budgeting or career goals instead of launching a financial attack. Bottom line, appreciate what he brings to the table beyond his salary. If you really can't see his worth past the dollar signs, it might be time to reevaluate your priorities. Number 8. Why are you so sensitive? Oh, here we go. Telling a man, "Why are you so sensitive?" is like telling a cat to stop purring. It's dismissive and downright mean. When you say this, what he's hearing is, "Your feelings are a problem and you should toughen up." It's a quick way to make him feel small and misunderstood. Let's be brutally honest. Sensitivity is not a flaw. It means he's in touch with his emotions and actually cares about things. Dismissing his sensitivity is like asking him to shut down a part of who he is. It's as if you're saying, only your stoic macho side is acceptable. The rest can take a hike. Newsflash, that's not how humans work. Here's the thing. Sensitivity can be a strength. It means he's empathetic, understanding, and probably better at picking up on what you're feeling too. Imagine if he always told you, "Why are you so emotional?" every time you cried during a sad movie or got upset about something. It wouldn't feel great, right? Trailblazers. Unless you're aiming for a relationship with a robot, a little sensitivity is a good thing. If you want someone who never shows any feelings, maybe reconsider what you're looking for in a partner. People aren't emotionless rocks, and expecting them to be is just setting yourself up for a dull, disconnected relationship. Bottom line, instead of shaming him for being sensitive, appreciate it. It's part of what makes him human and capable of deep connections. If you really can't handle it, maybe it's time to take a hard look at why you're so uncomfortable with emotions in the first place. In conclusion, mastering the art of communication involves more than just speaking. It requires empathy, respect, and an understanding of each other's sensitivities. As we've explored the 8 things you should never say to a man, it's clear that words have the power to uplift or undermine, to strengthen bonds or fray them. Remember, in the words of Maya Angelou, words mean more than what is set down on paper. It takes the human voice to infuse them with deeper meaning. By choosing our words thoughtfully and with kindness, we not only nurture healthier relationships but also foster mutual understanding and growth. Let's continue to build connections that withstand the test of time, one respectful conversation at a time. Thank you tremendously, watching ladies. See you in the next video. Bye for now and stay blessed.